The Ford Explorer has been one of America's most recognized family SUVs for decades, but the current generation is carrying some serious baggage that the brochure is not going to mention. If you are in the market for a 3-row SUV and the Explorer is sitting at the top of your shortlist, these 6 reasons could save you from a decision you will be regretting for the next 5 years. Simply, the reality is that key rivals are outpacing it in almost every area that actually matters to daily family life, and the gap is wider than most buyers realize. Number 6. Tight back rows. A big SUV is supposed to mean big space. That's the whole point of buying one. The Explorer stretches nearly 199 inches long, so the assumption is reasonable. Pull up to a crowded parking lot in one, and it certainly looks the part. But that exterior size is not telling the full story. Both the second and third rows are running noticeably short on room compared to what rivals are delivering at similar price points. The third row, in particular, is going to be a problem for anyone over the age of 10. The seat cushion sits too close to the floor, forcing knees upward and making longer trips genuinely uncomfortable. There is not enough footwell depth, and unless second-row occupants slide their seats forward, leg clearance in the back simply is not there. Think about what a 3-row SUV is actually supposed to do. Road trips, the whole family, luggage, the dog. When the third row turns a 2-hour drive into an endurance test, the whole premise of buying a 3-row SUV starts to fall apart. Rivals like the Chevrolet Traverse, Volkswagen Atlas, and Honda Pilot are all offering noticeably more rear row accommodation. Tight rear seating is frustrating enough on its own, but it becomes even harder to accept when the driving experience is also failing to impress, which is exactly what the next chapter is covering. Number 5. Disappointing driving experience. Pull the Explorer onto a highway and it performs fine. It is composed, it tracks straight, and the powertrain options carry real authority. But fine is not the same as impressive, and the driving experience has a way of feeling forgettable almost immediately. The auto stop-start system is a persistent irritation, cutting in too slowly when lifting off the brake at intersections, creating an awkward lurch that simply should not be happening at this price level. Even after multiple generations, Ford has not managed to calibrate the system to feel natural. The ST model, with its 400 horsepower V6, hits 60 miles per hour in around 5.1 seconds and does sharpen things up considerably. But that model is pushing well past $56,000, which is a lot to spend for driving excitement that competitors are delivering for considerably less. The mid-range trims, where most buyers are going to land, offer a ride that is competent but never engaging. And if you are thinking the interior at least makes up for it, the next chapter is going to change that thinking pretty quickly. Number 4. Interior feels cheap. Walk up to a Ford Explorer and the cabin looks the part. The redesigned dashboard has a clean, modern layout, soft touch panels on the door cards and center console, and a pair of screens that give the whole setup a contemporary feel. First impressions are generally good, and that is clearly what Ford is counting on. The problem starts once you spend more time in there. Look closely at the surfaces away from those key touch points, and the plastic quality drops off fast. Hard, hollow-sounding panels appear throughout the cabin, and even in the range-topping ST trim, a vehicle asking well over $54,000, critics and owners are flagging the same inconsistency. When you are spending north of $50,000 on a family SUV, every time a passenger rests an elbow on a surface that feels like it belongs in a much cheaper vehicle, the purchase starts to feel like a miscalculation. The Mazda CX-90 and Hyundai Palisade are both wrapping their cabins in noticeably higher-grade materials at comparable price points. The Explorer's cabin is functional, but cheap-feeling plastics are one thing. Paying extra for a feature that still requires a monthly subscription is a different kind of frustration entirely, and that is coming up next. Number 3. Blue Cruise hands-free tech costs extra. Hands-free highway driving is one of the most talked about features in this segment right now, and the Explorer does offer it. Ford's Blue Cruise system, with automatic lane centering and hands-free capability on mapped roads. The problem is that it is not really included with the vehicle. It is a subscription. The base active trim is not even eligible for Blue Cruise. On trims where it is available, buyers are looking at a trial period that expires, after which an annual subscription runs around $495 or $2,495 for a 7-year plan. So the headline capability Ford is using to market this SUV is actually a recurring fee on top of a sticker already starting at $40,000. Long drives are exactly where Blue Cruise is supposed to earn its keep, taking fatigue out of a 3-hour interstate stretch. But when that capability disappears the moment a trial expires, and restoring it means pulling out a credit card, it stops feeling like a feature and starts feeling like a toll. GM is handling Super Cruise differently, offering it without the same subscription pressure. The Explorer's system is capable when it works, but the ongoing cost is going to leave a lot of buyers feeling shortchanged, and the next problem is going to hit fuel-conscious shoppers just as hard. Number 2. No hybrid option available. Fuel efficiency is one of the most important factors for three-row SUV shoppers right now, and the competition knows it. The Toyota Grand Highlander is offering 2 hybrid powertrain options. The Kia Sorento has a hybrid. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid has been a consistent segment benchmark for years. And the Ford Explorer, there is no hybrid on the table. The base 4-cylinder is returning 24 miles per gallon combined with a rear-wheel drive. Reasonable for a gas-only SUV, but reasonable is no longer the bar. A buyer driving 15,000 miles per year in an Explorer is going to spend noticeably more at the pump annually than someone in a Grand Highlander Hybrid, which is clearing 30 miles per gallon combined. Stretch that across 5 years of ownership and the gap becomes a genuinely significant number, real money that a hybrid buyer is keeping in their pocket. Ford offers hybrid powertrains elsewhere in its lineup, so the engineering capability is clearly there. The absence of an electrified Explorer is a strategic choice, and right now it is a choice that is costing the vehicle in real-world comparisons. Fuel costs eating into the budget is painful enough, but as the final chapter is about to show, the Explorer's powertrain story has one more problem that most buyers do not see coming until it is too late. Number 1. Tremor has less power than civilized upper trims. Here is something Ford is not putting in the Tremor brochure. The new off-road variant is arriving with a version of the 3.0-liter twin turbocharged V6 that produces 385 horsepower, not the 400 horsepower that the same engine is delivering in the Explorer ST and the available Platinum configuration. That is a 15 horsepower gap between the rugged, trail-ready model and the trim that is essentially a daily driver with a sport suspension. It is a small number on paper, but the principle behind it is hard to ignore. Think about who is buying the Tremor. This is a buyer who is spending at least $50,000 for the most capable, most performance-oriented Explorer in the lineup. They are getting all-terrain tires, skid plates, a lifted suspension, and a limited-slip rear differential. They are expecting the full package. Finding out that the engine under the hood is producing less power than the one sitting in a comfort-focused Platinum trim, a model that costs less and never goes near a dirt road, is a genuinely frustrating discovery. It gets more complicated from there. Accessing the V6 and the Tremor at all requires an $11,850 option package, pushing the total to around $62,000. That package bundles the engine together with a 14-speaker audio system, massaging seats, and a panoramic sunroof, meaning there is no way to simply add the stronger engine without paying for a collection of extras. And even after spending that kind of money, the Tremor's V6 is still running 15 horsepower short of what the ST is producing as standard. For a variant that is supposed to represent the Explorer at its most capable, that is a difficult thing to justify. The Ford Explorer is not a bad SUV, but at a starting price of over $40,000, it is competing against some genuinely exceptional alternatives, and it is losing in too many areas to ignore. A cramped third row, a forgettable driving feel, below-par interior materials, a hands-free system behind a paywall, no hybrid option, and a powertrain structure that reserves the best engine for the biggest budgets. These are not isolated quirks, they are a pattern. The Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, and Mazda CX-90 are all delivering more refinement, more space, and better long-term value at comparable price points. The Explorer's name still carries weight, but in today's market, a famous badge is not a substitute for a well-rounded product, and the competition has made that clearer than ever. Even with these flaws, the Explorer represents one of the better options in the segment. Because rivals have their weak points too, including models like the Toyota Highlander, you can check out in our next video. It may be one of the most popular three-row SUVs, but it comes with drawbacks that are not easy to neglect.